We'll show it to you live in just a few minutes. Wait till you see that, though. That is just something you are going to want to own. Okay, now we're going to continue on, and we have something special for you. 2016, the Centennial Silver Dollar. Our price, $169.95. We're going to do 4 flex payments on this one. And this is brand new.
Well, the United States government makes a couple of commemorative dollars every year. And it's for several things. It's to commemorate specific events. It's also to raise a little bit of money because there's a charitable component with each and every one of these coins as well. So we take some of these coins and we have them certified by ANACS, which is the oldest of all the third-party major grading systems. We have them certified perfect, certified first day of issue, and then individually numbered to ensure its place within the limited edition. So this is the national parks. They already had the first commemorative dollar. This is the second and last one of the year. This is for the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service. As you can see right here, I'm going to flip that over. Look at the beautiful reverse that is on this. Gorgeous. It is solid silver. It is a silver dollar coin, $169.95, certified perfect, first day of issue, exclusive to HSN. Now, here's the thing. I've done a lot of these commemorative dollars since they first came back on the scene in 1983 was the first modern issue commemorative dollar. I've basically sold every single one of them in the course of as long as I've been doing this. This may well be, in terms of the first day of issue, this may well be the rarest first day of issue, the smallest edition I've ever done in any of the American commemorative dollars. As you can see, only 196 people can get the first day of issue. Now, you're guaranteed, in essence, the lowest price because it's exclusive to us. We set the price at $169. I'm assuming complete and total sellout today. We've already sold 49 coins.
And that's without it even being on air.
Basically. Okay. I mean, you know, you have 196 right here, so you've got 148 of them, something like that. 155 of those left is what that's going to be. We will count these down. Now, this is solid silver. This is one of the best prices that I've had for an absolutely perfect commemorative coin. Comes with the red oak presentation box that you see here as well. So you're going to get that. The entire thing, $169.95. Now, the United States government, when they make these coins, when we buy these coins and when the government sells them, they don't sell them certified. So that you don't know what the condition is. And in coin collecting, as in any collecting, the single most important determining factor of value is condition. The higher the grade, the more it's worth, and this coin has been certified perfect. People always ask me, what's the importance of that grade, you know, to be perfect? And the easiest thing to do is if you take a nice 1986 American Silver Eagle, a silver dollar in essence, from 1986, and you'd have one nice one, gem brilliant, uncirculated. We sell it for about $59.95 or $69.95. I've got one in mint state 70. If you go to hsn.com, I think it's $499. So the difference is 10 times the price for the grade. It's what we call conditional rarity, is ultimately what it comes down to. And this coin is certified absolutely, positively perfect. Look at that beautiful proof strike, certified by an independent third-party grading company to be absolutely perfect, to be from the first day of issue. And as you can see from the Philadelphia Mint, it is an absolutely stunning coin. I suspect that the United States government will make no more than... Isn't that beautiful?
Who does the artwork?
Well, it varies. They use different engravers, different artists that you're going to have with that. Isn't that just...
I think what makes it so exciting to collect. You look at that.
And if you look at this, this is one of the oldest symbols of the United States government right here. That's the National Park Service logo that you're going to have. If you go into any American national park, that's going to be there. Founded by Teddy Roosevelt, that you're going to have. So you can see that right there. That's going to be basically outside. So any sign or anything they have, that's going to have that logo. Now, from the original set we bought, now these didn't grade very well. They're so beautiful that you're going to have in a lot of detail. We bought 1,000 coins to make 196 of these in absolutely perfect condition. Out of those 1,000 coins that we purchased, that raised and was given to the National Park Service $10,000. $10 from every coin goes, the original purchase of the coin goes to the National Park Service. Just like when we did the Mark Twain coin, $10 from every one of those coins went to the Mark Twain house. There was actually houses, or several Mark Twain museums and houses. That's the secondary purpose of the commemorative dollar, plus to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the American Park Series that was basically put together by by Theodore Roosevelt. And so just a tremendous opportunity, brand new. We brought it out today. We basically just flew these in. I'm assuming, as is often the case here, it will be one day and one day only. I debuted it today, and when there's only 196 of these, and already 68, and if I take everybody on the phone, I'm looking at 2 dozen. Yeah, about 20. Yeah, you can do the math with that too. Yeah, about 20 of them or so is what they're going to have. And look at that. Is that just spectacular? Absolutely perfect. And what is that? Old Faithful is what I'm assuming. You've got a buffalo on the front of that coin. So for those of you that collect thematically, you're going to have, there's another buffalo dollar that they've done, the National Park Service Centennial, 1916 to 2016, that you're going to have right here. Can I
get this anywhere but here?
No. This is exclusive. The ANACS first day of issue is exclusive to HSN and always has been.
Okay, then understand.
And always has been.
That what you're looking at right here is a very rare opportunity that will go away, because right now we already have more people in the ordering process than we have coins to be able to give you. Get this home. Just marvel at it. It is so beautiful. I want to show you the flip side, because the Old Faithful, beautiful, but look at that detail. This, nowhere else, only here, and the red oak case comes with it. Do you get
yes,
the case with it?
As you can see that, look at that.
4 flex payments. Oh, by the way, buy more and save. So if you want to invest in a couple of the coins today, you will get half price shipping and handling on all the other coins, and believe me, we're going to tempt you with some beauties. Okay, please express ordering if you've got any shot at this, because we've only got about 1:30 or sell out.
People always ask, what is that blue? There's a TV screen that we watch that kind of tells us, so when we point at something, we know we're pointing at the right thing. That's about, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet away. This coin is reflecting that screen.
It's gleaming.
Is what it's just.
It's almost just like a mirror, isn't it?
That's right. And as you can see, it's a $1, so it's a silver dollar. I'm going to flip this over that you're going to have right there. There's the PR70, first day of issue, exclusive to HSN, guaranteed lowest price. On top of that, as silver has been as much as double what it is today, this is one of the lowest prices that we've been able to do on a commemorative dollar, period. Not just a national parks dollar. Going to be exceptionally and exceedingly rare. So the commemorative dollar that's come out. Now, the United States government started doing the commemorative dollars again in 1983 with the Los Angeles Olympics. So that was a very big deal when they did that. Occasionally, from that day forward, actually it started in 1982, they occasionally do a commemorative half dollar. And they don't always do a half dollar.